everybody, and welcome back to Grains of Truth, our Witcher tabletop RPG campaign. Before I hand over to our wonderful GM for the night, Jason, just Jason, please, do we have plugs or anything we want to say or anything we want to boost today?
I mean, I could do a tiny one.
Do it.
Just very small, very small. Cool. Yeah. So I'm very lucky that firstly I'm here, so thank you for inviting me in the first place. Secondly, I've just opened commissions. They probably won't be open for that much longer because I'm still kind of working full time at the moment, so it's kind of at the same time. So yeah, I got a few more slots if anyone's interested. Details are on my Twitter and stuff. And thank you so much.
Go get commission. Go get a commission because her artwork is freaking amazing, y'all. So do it. Jason, I believe that you get up to something on a Monday on some other channel somewhere on the internet.
Yeah, I get up to a couple of places throughout the week, actually. Got Mondays over on Encounter Roleplay, playing Vasily Teltos over in the Warhammer 40k Inquisitor game that they've got running. Very lovely time, just finally kicking into gear. So if you haven't caught up now's the best time to drop in. I also have a little bit of a Blue Rose campaign with the lovely people over at Pro Restarters channel going on Thursday afternoons CST. I've been having a ball over there and just enjoying myself otherwise and trying to keep my head on straight with everything, especially with this lovely little bi-weekly shindig we've got going on this lovely channel, which it's good times all around.
Jamie, Alice, you got anything today?
No, nothing today.
Not really, no.
Got this. Come on, be proud of
Yes, but they're here.
Jamie, why don't you tell us a little bit about the other shows that you're in, huh?
I mean, I could.
What other shows? What? I've never seen this person on your channel before.
Oh, really? Oh, well,
Yeah.
In that case, Jason, specifically targeted to you and no one else, but I suppose everyone can listen in. I happen to play a couple of games on this channel, Jason. Mondays, in fact, me, Susie, who's also here, but I'm talking specifically to you. We play in a game DM'd by Stu. I don't know if you've met Stu, great guy most of the time, but if he remembers that I'm there. That's a homebrew that he puts on, that's fun times. And then every so often, on Wednesdays, every other Wednesdays, me and Susie again, and a bunch of other people. If I started listing everyone, this will take even more time than I'm making it take. So that's a Curse of Strahd game where we make Susie almost pull her hair out, but instead she's now sitting on it because it's getting real long. She told us earlier. But I'm talking specifically to Jason, so no one else heard that.
No one else. And obviously this is not being recorded or listened to in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
No,
and will not exist as a permanent record on some sort of, I don't know, video platform like YouTube or something. I don't think so.
Hypothetically speaking, if those places did exist and this was on there, watch those shows.
Yeah. Watch those shows.
Thank you, Jamie, for that.
This is why I don't do plugs.
Well, since we're already here and, this is, after all, your channel, is there anything you would like to plug?
Well, Jason, thank you so much for asking. For you see, on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I stream on this here very channel, which is usually from 8 p.m. GMT till 11 p.m. EST, and we do all sorts of things here. We do video games, we do art, we do tabletop RPGs, you name it, we do it. So tune in for that, and if you're new here, please do hit that like, follow button, whatever it is up top. That heart thing. Thursdays and Fridays, you can find me on twitch.tv/encounter roleplay, where on Thursday, I DM the Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition viewer game called Once Upon a Time. And on Fridays, I'm a player in Act on Cthulhu, which is the 2D20 version of Act on Cthulhu by Modiphius Games that we are playtesting. And it's very fun. And then on Sundays, because there's no rest for the tall Yorkshire woman, I play in a Cypher System game on WebDM, which is twitch.tv/webdm, in which we all play vampires in the 80s, and if you tune into that game, you may recognize some artwork that is there on the overlay, and that is by the extremely good Rachel Talinia down below. She drew all our characters. They are freaking amazing. So tune in for some vampire shenanigans and some real good art. I think that's it. But yeah, wow, my brain has just suddenly just stopped. But there's Jason.
I just saw the fucking blue screen in your eyes. Sort of,
That final hurdle really got you.
It's when you finally realize how much you play in a week.
You're so busy.
My brain just stopped. It went boom. But you can also catch up with past, present, and future sessions of any of our RPG games, as well as extremely long, unedited VODs from video games I play on the YouTube channel, which I will put in the chat in just one short moment. Otherwise, please do make sure to follow us on all our relevant social medias, which are below our faces here today. I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to hand that over to Jason now so he can kill us all with Endrega. And yeah, bye.
Alrighty, fantastic. Well, I'm so glad that y'all sat through all the plugs and that you're here with us today, as was so lovingly indicated by one of our party. The group finds itself in the forests south of Novigrad. Talon, the witcher of the group, is on assignment, investigating the halting and despairing message of a caravan under the auspices of his employer, so-called Galen. As preliminary visitations upon the group yielded the discovery of a group of endrega that unfortunately burrowed themselves beneath the caravan itself, Talon, Orla, Phalanus, and Isabel now find themselves called to exterminate that little bug problem. Now, if I remember correctly, it was the wee hours of the early morning which you found yourselves departing from the group that had survived the initial attack, being left in the care of Barathis, Orla's current traveling companion, and left in the company of naught but the wood which surrounds them. As you made your way forward, you came upon the scene quite barbaric and, well, terrifying in nature. When last we left off, if I remember correctly, Talon, you had spotted the actual number of endrega that had sort of taken root in the ruins of the caravan carts that had been swallowed whole by the sinkholes that had been generated by their activity. One warrior and two workers, at least, that you could have seen. The warrior had just, unfortunately, pinned down and basically beat to death a lesser worker. And so you observe and sort of formulated the hypothesis that, I believe it was Phalanus, that perhaps the queen of this group had been otherwise indisposed or perhaps been rid of. However, that is pure speculation, and witchers so rarely deal in suppositions of the future. It is the present that concerns you. So, looking upon this threat, what do you do?
I think we were trying to make a distraction somewhere else and isolate them. I think
that kind of was the plan, yeah, to try and draw them away from, so we're not dealing with a swarm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just in case
I wanted
there's more in the nest.
at the last minute, I think.
Stealth at the last minute. All right.
I think I did.
I will say anybody who wishes to remain or try to remain undetected by the endrega will have to be rolling stealth checks at the minute just to see if they're successful in their attempts.
I would quite like to not be detected.
Yeah, me too. That would be real nice.
That would suck.
I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say I roll a d10.
Yes.
I rolled a total of 17.
Okay.
13 for me.
Respectable, respectable.
That is a 13.
13, okay. And Talon, are you concerned with...
Concerned,
your movements?
yes, but feeling like I'll be the distraction. Stealthy is counterproductive in that regard.
Okay.
So yeah, I will not be going stealthily, but I'll be separate from those just in case. Like, if I'm noticed, I don't want to just ruin it for them.
Sure, absolutely, absolutely. Well, with that, Phelanus, Isabel, Orla, being the three, shall we say, semi-professionals in this circumstance, you decide and elect to keep your distance and conceal yourselves amidst the shadows of the early morning. Indeed, only a few specks of sunlight dot the landscape, so frigid and frozen is the ground. As you sort of mince your way through the wood, the endrega do not seem to note your presence. However, as the sort of clicking and clacking of these insectoids continues, you see crawling from the pit one more form. You can't quite tell what it is, but it is definitely another portion of endrega, bringing the total that you can visibly confirm are up to 4.
Wait, so is it 4 and 1 dead one now?
Yes, 4 and 1 dead one.
Okay.
Although, if you wish, you could roll a perception to see if there's like any more down the pipe or what have you.
I wouldn't mind trying to get a better idea if there's any more in the area, yes.
Sure, if you want to. So that'll be either perception or investigation, whichever you...
Awareness?
Awareness, yes. Awareness is the...
That's a 10. It's an intelligence skill, so 25.
Okay, I think with a 10 on skill checks, you roll again? I could be totally wrong on that, but go ahead and roll again, why not?
Pretty sure this game has exploding crits, so you keep going.
That's amazing.
Well, in that case, it's an extra 7 on top of that, so 25
So-
plus 7.
32. Okay,
You say so.
finally sort of...
Aware of everything.
Well, coming into your element, actually, now that you're on the job, Talon, you still yourself, and almost instinctively, your Witcher senses reach out outside of the normal realm of human perception. Indeed, the mutations seem to sort of pulse within you, allowing your audio-sensory experience to rocket out and your visual sensory experience to expand and take in more information than the average man. As you peer into the sort of surroundings, you get the sense that this is an emulation that they are attempting to construct rather than an establishment that they are in the process of founding. You get the sense that these are the last survivors within a good area radius. However, as your sight and senses begin to rocket outward, you get the sense that these are not the only entities present within the immediate space. Sure, there's your traveling companions, but there's something more. Just beyond the edge of your current voluminous perception. It sounds sort of like a scuffle, but it's muted and somewhat far away. In order to consciously attend to it, you would have to sort of go in that direction. But you do know, based on where you're at and the position of the sun, vague enough to define as it is, it's coming from an easterly sort of direction, deeper into the woods, and definitely off the beaten path.
Fair enough. The distraction will be going west then.
All right.
Just to be on the safe side. And if it's... My idea is it might just be more of the nest fighting something else. So if we spread them as thin as possible, it might give us a better chance for now.
Sure.
So I will be heading west from this position.
Okay. Traipsing along west and sort of going into the thicket, I would assume Isabel, Phalanus, Orla, you would be sort of following Talon as he progresses, or would you sort of be staying back? Would you be in sort of different disparate directions? Like, what would your game plans be in this present moment?
I feel like we should probably hang back, but stay within a sort of easy enough radius to get to Talon if he gets into trouble.
Yes,
Fan out behind him.
We can be sure that when and if the creatures have followed him off.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. So, as you continue along and sort of keep to your conscious senses, the endrega do not seem to mind your presence, and even though, Talon, you are approaching, they seem to be congregating around each other and almost lashing out in anger towards each other. They're very much concerned with themselves at the present moment. But as you continue to approach, there's sort of a pause that grips them every now and then. Like something is not staying their hand, but they are like consciously trying to keep aware of their surroundings.
In that case, is there anything on the ground like a rock or something that could be thrown?
Around the present circumstance, I'll say that there's definitely like a few either heavy sticks or rocks of serviceable size that you can hoist aloft and lob wherever you need it.
Cool. How clear is this area? Because I imagine if it's quite boggy and frozen over, there's not many trees around where the actual nest.
Yeah. Well, they made the nest in the middle of the road, basically. So it's clear in terms of the road itself sort of being semi-paved with gravel. Of course, neglected due to the distance and the environment that it takes in, but still, it's a road by definition. In surrounding it, there's a few disparate trees, but nothing that would offer like substantive protection, and definitely would be wide enough for you to sort of have each of them pounce upon you comfortably, which... Right. It's a risk to run, no matter what.
It seems pointless having to try and draw them too far over there then. In that case, I will try and look around, see if I notice the others, if they're comfortable in their positions at the minute, and kind of just signal that I have a rock ready when you are.
All right. I'll say that, especially with the 35, which will carry over for a little bit. Yeah, you see them all perfectly. And, yep, you just indicate that you've got this this very good rock that you can throw wherever needs be. Isabel, Phalanus, Orla, any precautions you'd like to take?
Just a frown.
Isabel will very quietly mutter under her breath, I didn't realize the tools of the Witcher were so rudimentary. But otherwise, just go ahead.
Talon, you do hear this snide comment.
Debate.
Oh no, Jamie, it happened. It happened.
No, wrong game, no. I don't.
Snap out of it, snap out of it.
Different characters. Yeah.
Talon tries to throw forward, and yet, no. And yeet.
Oh, I slipped.
And yeet.
Why are you throwing the damn rock?
I wish to yeeteth the stone.
You wish to yoth the stone?
Yes, please.
Oh, gosh. All right. So that will be... What skill in order to throw a stone? Okay.
There should be a yeet check.
I wish that was one of the skills. I truly do wish that was an option.
Yost it yonder.
We'll say that this will be just... you know what? Make it a brawling check. I'm so confident.
There's an athletics.
Oh, there is an athletics. Okay, so make it an athletics check.
Would it count as a thrown weapon?
Oh.
I'm making it more complicated. I apologize. I'll shut up.
I have an idea. We shall make it a staff spear check. No. Athletics. Athletics.
Athletics. Right. 18 total.
Okay. You fling the stone, and it crashes amidst the cold, hard ground, sort of making a satisfying ploop sound as it stumbles into one of the semi-frozen ponds. At that, the endrega take note of you and of the stone's position. They're not immediately sort of venturing out, but you see the warrior kind of snipping at the tails of the workers who are sort of like inching their way out and like chattering and clicking to each other as they go towards the direction of the stone that was thrown.
I was expecting them to be a bit more pissed off. Well, I suppose I'll draw my silver sword and just kind of like really loudly try and whistle or something. Just like, it's me, please. Like, seriously, I've never had to try this hard to have a fight. Like, come on, guys. You show me up.
All right. As soon as this piercing whistle is let out, all the endrega turn to you simultaneously. There is a great growl amongst them as the music stops and as combat begins. All right, I need everyone, just as a point of order, to roll an initiative check. Yay!
Which one's our initiative?
I was about to say.
It's weird, like as
10 plus your reflex, I think is what it is.
Yep,
Aria?
with your reflex stat. If you roll a tie, remember the number that you rolled, and then
reflex
you roll
plus
again.
What, sorry?
1d10.
Oh,
Yes.
1d10 plus reflex. Go. Oh, that's 11.
15.
All right.
7.
12. Oh!
Oh boy, this is fun. Okay, so we'll go ahead and say they. Oh, that's not a good roll. Okay, so.
Just as well, just for anyone watching, if we ask how to do a particular skill track, it's not for us. We know this system inside and out,
100%.
forwards and backwards. It's for you guys who may not be familiar with this system.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We're here for you.
We're just really good at pretending like we don't know what we're doing.
Mm.
Exactly.
I mean, what?
Good lord. Okay, so going down the line, Isabel, what did you roll?
7.
7, a big old 7. Man, thanks for showing up.
Don't care. This song's about oranges. It's great.
Yep, that's true. All right, so there's one Phelanus. Where are you?
12.
Phelanus is at a 12. She is. Then we go to Talon.
15.
15. Talon with that big ol' 1-5. And then Orla.
That'd be a juicy 11.
A juicy 11. Ooh, that's slightly worrying, but good. All right. So, mercifully, the initiative order is all 4 players and then the endrega because
Oh, wow.
they rolled a 1, literally a
Wow.
1. Like it was bad. Okay, so
Good for us.
with that, top of the initiative order yields us to Talon. You've got 4 endrega that are standing right in front of you, 2 of which 2 workers are sort of like clicking and clacking their claws at you and like bigging themselves up, like trying to face you with zeal and aplomb. Is there anything you would like to do?
I would like to, as I said, I already drew my silver sword, and I would just like to swing it thusly at the warrior one.
Okay, so in order to do that, just as a point of order, you would have to sort of angle yourself around the 2 endrega that are in front of you. What is your speed?
My speed is somewhere on here. 6.
Yeah, okay, your speed is 6. That means times 3, that would be a running speed of 18, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah, run 18. Yeah.
Yes. So, I'll say, unfortunately, if you did that, you would have to sort of run around the 2 workers that are in front of you, and you wouldn't be able to attack, but you would get there because of the distance between. 18 meters. That's different than feet, is it not?
Yeah, by quite a margin.
By quite a margin, yeah. Okay. We'll say that, yeah, you're able to get to the worker, angling yourself around the 2 workers who sort of rear back and, again, snip their claws at you.
Will I be able to attack Jiren?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, because 18 feet is 59... 18 meters is 59 foot.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I've totally misjudged that. Never mind. You're able to angle yourself perfectly right next to the warrior.
Okay, cool. And yeah, I would like to swing the silver sword.
Alrighty, swing that silver sword. Are you going to be
anywhere in particular? No,
not aiming anywhere in particular. Okay, so go ahead.
This will be with swordsmanship, right? Oh no,
correct.
Reflex.
No. It's swordsmanship. It's a swordsmanship check.
So that's going to be.
Okay, and then
23.
23. So that's 9. Okay, so 23. You apply skills and modifiers. Is the attack above defense? And just rolling that would be. That does beat a 16, so we will go ahead and go from there. Is it 7 or more above? Yours was a 20 what?
I'm going to have to recalculate. Sorry.
Oh, no. No worries. We know this system inside and out. We're just doing this for the viewers. 23.
23.
So 16, 23. It's a difference of 7. So Wow, yeah. Yeah, that is a critical wound. Good job. All right. So with the crit, since it is +7, you invoke a simple critical and add 3 damage. And yeah. All right, I think that's that. Now we have to determine where exactly the attack was aimed. So was the attack aimed at a body location? It was not. So go ahead and roll 2d6. Oh, it's 2d6 and not a d10. I think I might have. Never mind. I know the system inside and out.
2d6, yes.
2d6, yes.
A 5 and a 3.
5 and a 3, so that's 8, which means you get to hit it in the spleen. No, not the spleen. You get to hit it. What the hell? Where did it go? I saw it somewhere.
You had it for last week.
I had it for last week. I swear. That was an 8?
Yes.
You hit it on the left limb. So we must have the damage going forward. So roll 2d6 to determine location. Got that. It is not an elemental or a spectre, so you apply the crit to the determined location. So you crit the left arm, which means something. Which means something, I swear.
So now you rolled damage, right?
Yes. Whenever you score a critical wound, each level of critical wound means forces is met by sound save. Okay. So that goes there. So now roll weapon damage.
Silver Sword is 1d6 plus 2, but its effect is 3d6 if I would assume the creature is susceptible to silver.
Which, guess what? It is susceptible.
Great. So that's 4d6 plus 2.
4d6 plus 2, okay.
9.
9, okay. So 46 plus 2.
With the plus 2, so 11.
11. And also the plus 3 because it was a critical hit. So then apply weapons modifiers by that. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, wait, what? Oh, that was the location of the critical that we just determined. Whoops. So you rolled an 8, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, it'll have a foreign object shoved into its limb.
Is the sword not a foreign object?
Yeah, but like cloth or something.
A bonus object.
It might get a nasty infection.
Oh no!
Oh no! How dare you?
The
You
rock
monster.
that yachted.
Yeah, no kidding. All right, so okay. So now we have to determine where it hits on the monster. So I did have it right. Go ahead and roll a d10.
7.
7.
This dice really likes the number 7.
Well, that's very good. So you didn't hit the left limb, you hit the right limb. Congrats.
One big swipe.
Okay, so there goes that. Now you have to go to the flowchart and tell me. Okay, so determine, so subtract stopping power. The stopping power of an endrega is somewhere in this book. Again, which I know by heart. The stopping power of an endrega is going to be, I believe that's armor, so 8. Yep. So that's 8. So what did you roll?
It's been a minute. It was 9 on the dice, then plus 2 because of being it says so. So 11.
So 11 plus 3 because you got a simple crit, which means
14.
A 14.
Hey, if in doubt, look at chat because they've got a better grip on this than we do.
Oh, really? That's wonderful. So glad to see that you're all here. So
This was for their benefit, though. Again,
This was for yes. I'm so glad that you're all so fast learners that we were able to.
It's a good deconstruction. You know, it's a play-by-play, you know?
It's a play-by-play. Yes, we'll have John Madden on in a second. Right. So stopping power 14 minus 8, 6, right? That's math. That sounds like math. All right. So 14 minus 8 is 6. Have that to 3? That doesn't sound right. At least 1. Yes. Apply to HP. Subtract armor SP by 1. Okay, I think I got it. So, you managed with that to cleave into the right arm of this creature. By the way, what what damage does the silver sword do? I'm assuming slashing?
I would assume.
Okay, so
I don't think it says in this little box where my weapon is accuracy, damage, type.
okay, so
damage and type, but I've done it just as the dice.
No worries. Okay, so that's 2 from the critical because it applies directly to HP, regardless of stopping power, and then all that which surrounds it is halved. So, but it's not halved again because it's silver. So an 11 goes down to 6? Yes? We'll say 6. And which means that the warrior receives 8 damage in total. Yes, I have declared it, and so shall it be. All right, so the warrior lets out a horrific sound as it receives this 8 points of damage, and its SP is reduced by 1. So SP is now at that number. Okay. I think I've got the handle of this. Probably. With all of that in mind, I don't think there's anything more that you can do, Talon, unless you just feel good.
I'm not entirely sure of what the breakdown of a turn is in this game. He says, knowing full well, but it's, again, the stream's benefit.
Yes, absolutely. Knowing full well. Right. So, with that, we'll say that that is Talon's turn and go into the next portion of it. Phalanus. Yes.
Okay.
So, just to describe what you have just seen, the Witcher darted across the battlefield elegantly and shoved his silver sword deep into the right claw of this terrifying creature. It's the biggest of the group, so it seems to be very much in command of the situation, while the 3 smaller ones seem to be sort of scurrying and scuttling about, trying to assess what to do.
Would you say I have a good line of sight on that warrior?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, I'm good. Okay.
Wonderful line of sight on this warrior.
I'm gonna go for an attack. I'm not gonna aim for any part in particular.
Alrighty, so follow. Not following, so. Well.
Hold on 1 second. Hold on.
Yep. Oh, hello. We have young children.
Sorry, small children.
Small children, no worries.
Let's see. Okay, so D10 plus my dex plus my skill for a weapon attack. Okay, so that is 7, 10, 18.
18, alrighty. So that's 18 to hit. Now, this is the same one, right?
Yes, same one,
okay.
The warrior.
We'll say that because it's doesn't have a good line of sight on you because you were stealthed, that it has no opportunity to dodge out of the way, so you hit perfectly well.
Makes sense? Okay.
Attack. It is 7 or more, so you technically land a crit.
What's the DC on them? I thought it was 16.
Oh, no. That's if it makes a defensive action.
But I see. Okay.
Yes, but since it has no idea where you're at, and this is literally coming out of nowhere, it just resolves.
Gotcha.
Sinking into the carapace of this creature, way above the defensive action. I believe that scores a critical just automatically.
Okay.
And so you rolled a 17, it was?
I rolled an 18.
An 18. So that's definitely what is termed a deadly critical.
Beautiful.
As I understand it. So we go to the critical wound table. So you get
6.
Yes. So you get 10 bonus damage. 10 bonus damage. And with a deadly critical, go ahead and roll 2d6.
Okay, that would be a 4.
That would be a 4. So blow renders your arm useless. If I'm not mistaken, you have just literally severed the claw, one of the claws of this creature.
With my arrow.
With your arrow, yes. So the blow rends your arm from your body. Oh, wow. Don't need to roll for them. Okay, so 2d6 was that. So you hit the we'll say that you hit the arm that was facing you. So if it was angled that way, that would be the left arm. So left arm damage. Apply crit to the determined location. It has been applied. Now we roll weapon damage.
Okay, so my weapon damage is 3d6 plus 3. So that would be 12. So that's 12 for my dice. Do I get that additional 10?
Yes, that 10 is applied to the HP of this creature directly.
So that's 22 in damage.
22 in damage. Wow. Okay, that's a whole hell of a lot.
Woof.
All right. So that goes there. Now we already determined it was one of the arms. So yes, it has already been accounted for. Now we subtract the stopping power, the armor of this creature. So 22 minus 7, that's 15. Yep. And this will go down by 1 because obviously. Multiplied by hit location and resistance. So it was a silver weapon, or no, it wasn't a silver weapon, it was a steel weapon. So that reduces the damage by half. However, as you hit the arm of this creature, you get the sense that these are unnaturally flesh-like, but as it is the left arm, it only it halves the damage again. So that is 11 divided by 2, 6.
Whew.
Halved limb and halve again. Yes.
Yes.
All right. Fantastic. So, and in addition to it, the angle of the arrow was such that you actually found a soft spot within the sort of loose connective tissue, and it rocketed through, and you see as the warrior is trying to sort of keep up its defenses, its arm falls to the ground like limp and lifeless. It sort of angles itself around trying to figure out what happened, but it seems to have no control exerted over this limb.
Oh,
so,
damn, I'm good.
Yeah, damn you are indeed. So that is that. And so we go to Orla.
Okay, yes. I will take my primed crossbow and probably try and shoot for the same guy because, and this was the warrior endrega, yes.
Yes.
Yes, because it seems like a good idea to try and take that one out. So I will attempt to take a crossbow shot at that one.
Go ahead.
Okay, so 9 plus 9. What's my dex? Okay, so that's 16.
16, and I'll say similarly, since you were stealthed, you also get a critical on this. On this, so going down. Rolling again. Applying skills and mods already applied. Attack above defense. It is indeed by 7 and more, so you get a critical, a deadly critical. Yay. Fantastic. Oh wait, there was also 10 damage that was applied directly to HP. It's still standing, but Phalanus, as you see, like, the bolt sink through, you notice that there are gouts of this viscous liquid that are just spilling out of the wound that you created, as if there was like an artery that was severed or otherwise like exposed. Now going back to Orla, you scored a deadly crit as well. Mm-hmm. So go ahead and roll 2d6.
Okay. Wait, 6. Hang on. Let me screw into my dice tray for a sec. Whee! That's a total of 4.
4. This poor guy.
Did I do good?
You did it again. A dismembered arm. This poor.
I didn't need those. It's fine.
We're not messing around, apparently.
Are we just that one kid on the playground that people worry about because he's pulling legs off of spiders?
Yeah.
Yeah, but these spiders are like 4 feet tall and kill people, so I kind of feel all right about it. Yeah,
it's... Whew. All right, so critical wound location has been determined.
Yes.
Roll weapon damage. What'd you get?
All right, so my weapon damage is 4d6 plus 2.
Okay, 4d6 plus 2.
So that's...
And if I remember, this is a crossbow, right?
Yes.
So this cannot be a strong attack, if I'm not mistaken.
It's a total of 18.
Total of 18. Oh, wonderful. Okay, so total of 18. Apply weapon modifiers already been applied. Body location has been determined. We subtract SP, so that goes down because obviously. So 18 minus 6 is 12, halved because it is not silver, and halved again
3
because of limb location is 3 plus the damage that is done directly to HP because it's a crit. Oh my god. This did not go well for this one. Wait a minute. No. Wait a minute. Did you just...
Did they kill your bug before you got a chance to use it?
I need to check twice, but I think the answer is yes.
Oh, man. Orla and Phalanus just standing back to back with their ranged weapons.
God,
that needs to be art of that, please.
Also, has the merchant got the first kill of this game?
Right.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. So, the right arm of this creature explodes. There's really no other way of saying it. Like,
I have bombastic crossbow bolts.
Yeah, no kidding.
Michael Bay directed this one particular...
Yes, just for this one particular endrega. You notice Talon as it sort of like eagerly reaches its one functioning claw towards you. A crossbow bolt sort of like buries behind the claw and like dislodges the like crusty carapace of this creature. It, as I said, kind of explodes. And so as it tries to combat the blood loss, it just staggers around and finally succumbs to its own injuries.
Nice.
I must remember that stealthing in this, it's quite a good tactic.
Very strong.
You see the workers kind of like turn to each other and chitter and chatter as we go from Orla's turn to Isabel's.
Wreck 'em.
Rock'em, sock'em, robots.
The urge to be like, Isabel just sits down on a tree stump and says, oh, you've got this. No, I won't. So,
would you though?
are there any more warriors around? Or is it just workers?
You can take a moment to do a quick awareness check if you wish.
Okay, let's do that. So I can see. Survey the battlefield.
Indeed.
That comes under intelligence. She is very smart. That is a 15.
15. Quick cursory glance around. Haha. You get the sense that these are the only endrega in the area. So yes, the 3 workers.
Okay. Well, I will step forth, swish my hair out my face, reach out a hand and shout "Enya" as a big ball of fire appears on top of one of the workers.
I love that band. Go ahead and tell me how that works.
Okay, so I need to roll.
You sure you're not a bard?
That will be an 18.
An 18. Okay. So, do you mind telling me the page where this spell is on?
Okay, this page is on. I think it's like 102.
102? All right.
No, sorry, it is 103. It is the first spell under fire. It costs 5 stamina.
Yep.
It allows me to throw a ball of pure fire at an opponent within the range of the spell. This ball of fire does 4d6 damage and has a 75% chance of lighting the target on fire.
This is great. Okay, sure. So... yeah, that happens. So we shall go to the endrega. It can make a dodge or escape roll. So
dodge, block, or magical shield.
Dodge, block, or magical shield. Guess what? These endrega do not have magical shields.
Wild.
Wild. So that's a... What did you roll?
18.
Okay, so that's 9 plus 15. So 15 plus... Oh, dang. As the sort of hyper-aware nature of the worker has been sort of activated, and as you have sort of sauntered forth confident in your abilities, I will say it did have the opportunity to, unfortunately, pounce out of the way, the ball of fire slamming into the ground where it once was, the flames crawling out and around the somewhat dry and very just profusely frozen ground. It doesn't smell good. Is there anything else you'd wish to do?
No, that's fine.
Okay. So let's see.
That's fine.
I'm reminding myself that I'm supposed to be nice to you in this one.
I think I'd probably give you a rather shocked look, you know.
None of y'all motherfuckers can make fire come out of your hands like
Yeah,
that.
I didn't know this. This is...
Oh, not like that, but...
Are you telling me Igni's anywhere close to that? Because...
No, just the way you phrased it, fire out your hands.
Okay,
But
so...
yeah, that would be quite shocking, I think, to Ola, because Ola doesn't know.
I got no idea. I was like,
Isabella's a sorceress.
well, explains why you're here.
Yeah, and Phelanus, this is really the first time that this has been displayed.
Yeah, I wouldn't know either. Yeah.
Yeah, so you've all found out that you've got a sorceress in your party. Surely nothing can go wrong.
Bonus action I have to shit my pants. No, not really.
All right, with this big brave endrega that just had a fireball thrown into its general direction, that's going to be that plus that. You rolled an 18. That's right.
I did, yes.
Okay, so that will be the DC to beat for its courage test, and wouldn't you know it, it failed. So instead of attempting to fight further, it sort of like turns to the side and leaps ferociously out of the way and begins scuttering like into the woods. Talon, you notice this is not in the easterly direction. This is like just wildly running. There are 2 other endrega, however, who just saw you murk their leader. Guess where they're going, Talon?
Bending the knee and swearing allegiance.
Let me see here. That's a lot. So that's a 9 plus that, which is a 15 plus. I believe melee is under body, is it not? Yes.
Body has
no, not body. Reflex, right?
Reflex, melee, brawling, dodge, escape, riding, sailing, small blades. But yeah,
that's a 21 to hit, Talon. So you can make a dodge escape check to see if you can leap out of the way before. Leap out of the way before terrible consequences are visited upon you.
18 plus 5. 23.
Oh, just out of the way. Good job. The claws of this worker slam into the ground, sort of trying to grab at your feet. However, you dodge deftly out of the way and avoid the terrible consequences. As indeed the next leaps forward ridiculously, slamming into the ground beside you, and taking a swipe. Oop. All right. It rolled a 1. I'm just going to put that dice right there and
That's
get
rough,
a new
buddy.
one. Because
No. Keep using that. Just keep using that. It's fine.
no. I really need to. I really need to vary up. Which dice did I use? So with the 1, unfortunately, it sort of, as it tries to sort of leap ridiculously, it rears back a little bit more vigorously than it should have. And
Does it have anything to add to it? Because ones aren't crit failures, like necessarily
right.
automatic failures.
Well, that's plus. So that's a 1 plus 6 plus 6. So 13 minus, I think it was 9 that I rolled. So 3. Did
You roll again and subtract the second roll from this.
Yes. Okay. So let me find a different dice for that one because, roll again, subtract from the skill and all that, and so we find ourselves at a lovely another 1. That's so 1 minus 1, so 0. So that's 12 total. Yes. Haha. So now you have to roll dodge escape again. Yes.
Okay, but anything above 12, right?
Yes, anything above 12.
Then I cannot roll any lower than a 15.
So excuse me.
What would it been? Reflex plus dodge. My reflex is a 10, and then dodge is a 5.
Fish for the fumble. Let's see if you roll.
4.
I didn't. It was a 9 on the dice.
Oh, for these bugs are just having a very bad time. So similarly, the claws. Yeah, the claws are just digging fruitlessly at you, trying to find purchase upon anything. Their behavior seems to be very erratic and uncoordinated, but that doesn't really matter much as we come to the top of the round. And Talon, do you like to tell me what you're going to be doing here?
That one that just took a swing just then.
Yes.
I'd like to demonstrate, hopefully. Pride before a fall, but demonstrate hopefully what an attack that lands looks like. So I'd like to swing.
Why not? I'm sure it will be a valuable lesson.
Hopefully. Well, that was a 1. So, as I said, pride before the fall.
Yeah.
But you don't automatically fail.
Yes.
No.
but that is a fumble. So go ahead and roll again.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's a 6 on the dice. So how did the fumbles work again?
So you subtract 6 from the roll. So you're doing a swordsmanship, which is
a plus 6 anyway, so it's a 10 with just reflex.
So 10 with just reflex, and then you subtract... Wait, so swordsmanship is 6?
And I rolled a 6 on the dice, so if we just minus the 6, I just took her straight out.
Yep, that's
which
correct.
The reflex is a 10.
Yep, and now I have to go ahead and roll. Boop. So 7 plus that, which is 13, plus that, which is 19. So guess what? The endrega that so deftly missed you the first time now unfortunately dodges out of the way. Now, in terms of fumbles, if I'm not mistaken, there is also a slight slight problem. Go ahead and roll a d10.
5.
A 5. Okay, there's no major fumble.
Okay.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Very nice. So, that being done, is there anything else that you would wish to do, Talon? Remember, you also have stamina, so you can make fast attacks and whatnot, if you so desire.
Yes, I would like to do that. I wasn't aware of that being really a thing.
Yes, you can make a fast strike, which allows you to attack twice in one round without penalty. These attacks don't have to be made against the same target as long as both targets are within range. They can be very useful when you're surrounded by enemies. Case in point, the 2 endrega that you have. Sort of nipping at your heels.
Let's do that. So do I just roll the attack as normal?
Roll the attack as normal against whichever you desire.
Same one again, just because I really want to get that back. And that was a 9 on the dice, so that's a 19, then plus 6 for swordsmanship.
Okay, 9 plus 10 plus 6. 25 indeed. So now we must do this. So that's 11 plus 12, which is 23? 11 plus 12 is 23, yes. Mm-hmm. Which you rolled a 25. 25. So even with that exploding critical, unfortunately, its luck has finally run out. So go ahead and roll higher than the offense. It's not by 7 or more, so it's no critical. However, roll your weapon damage.
Which is 4d6 because it's 1d6 for the blade and then 3 because it's silver.
Exactly.
Or is that just an effect if I do a crit or something?
No, silvered is specifically against monster enemies. If it's a monster, you apply those extra damage die.
I was just making sure.
That's
going to be a 14.
14. Okay, so that's 14 damage. Now we have to determine body location because you did not make it a called shot. Go ahead and roll a d10.
10.
It says special.
Because I am.
I think for endrega, if I'm not mistaken, special is their tail. I'm gonna take a little bit of a check before I call myself a liar. Vulnerability. Yep, nope, it's the tail. Yep, so that'll be half damage. So first subtracting SP, which at this point is 8. So what did you roll again? 14?
Mm-hmm.
14 minus 8 is 6.
8. Yeah.
Minus 8 is 6. Halved that because it's a special area, but not halved because it's a silver sword. So you slice across the tail of this creature, drawing a little bit of blood from the sort of chitinous, rocky, part of this creature. As you sort of peer into it, you notice there's something off. The blows that you are landing are purchasing a whole lot more quickly, even if they're not as, shall we say, calculated as you might originally want. With that, we go to... Yep. Apply them. Subtract that because it hit. And... Oop. Failing us.
Okay. I'm going to try... There's only one left. Two left?
Two left. They are both on... both currently on Talon.
Do I have good line of sight on both of them?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, absolutely. I'm going to do a fast strike. We'll sail.
Okay. So, yeah, 2 arrows knocked.
Yep. Oh, I'm so cool. So it's a D10.
So great. Yes, and I'll say that each of them gets an opportunity to dodge. So I'll go ahead and roll those while you tell me what you got. Show me what you got.
Well, hold on. So ones don't automatically fumble, right? I rolled a 1. Okay. But I haven't added everything to it.
So roll again.
Okay.
And tell me what you get.
A 10.
So we subtract 10 from the roll. You were rolling for an archery skill, if I'm not mistaken, yes?
Yes.
So what's your archery skill?
An 8.
And plus your dexterity, which is?
A 7, so...
So that's a fumble. And unfortunately, the first arrow flies in a random direction, unfortunately. Yeah, it kind of sucks. Go ahead and roll another d10 just to see...
Yeah, second attack, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently,
no.
10 explodes as well.
What?
As says in chat, the 10 explodes. So when you roll the 10 again...
Oh, so that would be a 7 then for that one.
Okay, so wait a minute. The D10 explodes, so that means it applies to the fumble, right?
I think.
So that subtracting number gets bigger.
Oh,
17.
Lord, that...
Minus 17.
That hurts me. That hurts my soul.
Go
Did
ahead
she
and roll.
stab herself?
I think
Shoot herself somehow? No, it's that thing where let go of the bow instead of the arrow.
Something terrible happened, but go ahead and roll another d10 just to see if you got any major fumbles.
Okay.
Because that's a thing.
That's an 8.
That's a major fumble. Oh no.
Oh, I was so cool. I got flustered by the sorceress. I'm all flustered now.
Oh God.
What did I
Okay, so with an 8, your bowstring comes partially undone. It takes 1 round to undo this, so you have like all this battle plan like figured out and everything, and you let go, and unfortunately you let go of the incorrect parts. You let go of the bow and it slammed back into your body, and the bowstring came undone, and it's like covered in like this really weird like swamp water. It's a mess. It's just not good.
Well, so I'm gonna take the rest of this time to complain about how the moisture in the air and how my hands slipped to myself.
The sun was in your eyes.
Everything I can think of.
All right.
It was gonna be so cool. Darn it.
Just blame Isabel. It'll be great.
I'm gonna, yeah. Great storytelling.
So now we come to Orla.
That's me.
That's you.
Am I able to fire another crossbow bolt this turn? I know that I have to reload.
Yes, I believe with a crossbow, you can reload and take a shot as part of like a full
Essentially,
action.
that means I can't do fast actions with a crossbow.
Correct.
That makes sense.
That is contained only with like bows and...
I mean, I'm not really a fighter anyway, so...
So go ahead and roll that.
So yeah, I imagine I've probably taken a knee to get a good shot. I'm like, Philenis, are you all right there?
You see as Phalanus like stumbles back.
No!
Okay. And that is a 15 this time.
15. 15?
Yes, 15.
15.
No, it's 50, Jason. I rolled 50.
I rolled a 50. Oh, well, that's cocked. So that's 11 plus 12, so that's 23. Yeah. Unfortunately, as you sort of take aim and drop to one knee and release, the sort of angle of this creature like turns at the exact correct moment to have your crossbow bolt fly past it completely. Yeah, no damage was to be found that day. So sorry. Thank you for playing. So now, what? Isabel.
We need you.
Please. We used up all our cool.
Please help.
We're just distracting each other.
Okay. I'm gonna try and do a magical flex upon that one that dodged my very good fireball last time.
Wait, the one that's running away?
Is it running away?
Yes, it's running away.
Yeah, then I've got to kill that one.
Sure. Okay.
It's probably gonna get stupid bug face reinforcements.
Fair. Okay, so I'll say that you're going to have to like move a little bit just to keep in tandem with it, but
I will.
Yeah. So go ahead and roll that good. Yeah.
That was a 10. So
okay,
it's an
so roll
exploding.
again. Yes, so it explodes.
Another 10. And a 7.
That's where our luck went.
That was 27 when you add my modifiers, which is 13. That is 40.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna say that hits, and that's I'm not even since it is running away, it's not currently attending to its current situation, so I'll say that fireball hits. Go ahead.
So it's 4d6 damage.
4d6, okay.
20 fire damage.
Okay, that's 20 fire damage. Now we have to consider, because it is a crit, a deadly crit, we have to determine the location. So go ahead and roll 2d6 for me.
Okay. That is 9.
9. That's a deadly critical, so that's a... You somehow damaged its heart, so I'll go ahead and say that means you hit it in the torso.
You just insulted it really badly.
You scared it really bad.
Like really, like it
hard.
wasn't expecting any fire. Like,
look, Isabel breaks hearts. It's what she does.
It happened like 6 seconds ago, so it doesn't even remember the first fireball. It doesn't know why it's running, and then suddenly searing pain.
You can't break a heart that's already broken.
Oh shit!
So that's 20 fire damage,
Mm-hmm.
if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Okay. So, we're gonna subtract the stopping power, which doesn't really do much. So 20 minus that is 12. Multiply by hit location, since it was the torso, that's just full damage. And yeah, endrega, not fireproof. So so that applies. And then on top of that, it's a deadly critical. So it takes 10 extra damage directly to the HP. Ow. So that's 22 points of damage. And just go ahead and roll a percentile die. Okay. And just call higher or lower.
Then
well, it's 75% chance to catch on fire, right?
Oh, right. Yep. Okay. Yep. Higher.
Wait. So 75% chance you rolled above 75? Or below 75%? What did you roll?
I rolled an 81.
Okay, you rolled an 81. So that means it's in the 25% that doesn't happen? So it doesn't explode into flames? No.
Right. Okay, we need to make that a bit clearer because you fucking bamboozled me big time there, dude.
Sorry. You know what? 75% chance we'll say that it happens because not only is it a critical hit on the torso, like, yeah. So it's on fire as well, burning terribly, horribly. And I believe that that's actually a consideration that was taken into effect. Fire. You are now engulfed in flames. Every turn you take 5 points of damage to every body location. Armor soaks the damage, but fire does 1 point to armor and weapon every turn. To put the fire out, you must either pour water on yourself or stop, drop, and roll. Okay, so that worker isn't dead, but it's knocking on death's door really bad. So it takes a point of damage to the armor that it has, and it stops in its tracks as this sort of magical fire wreaths around its body and sort of penetrates into its actual like chest cavity. Because of course, in addition to being on fire, its heart is now bleeding.
I think I just look at her like.
It's not even.
Isabel just sort of brushes her hair over her shoulder and smiles sweetly.
It's sort of like limping and crawling along. Like it's refusing to die, but not because it has a future, just because it doesn't like because it doesn't like where it is currently. I'll say that's that one's turn.
Yeah, no, I'm quite happy with that one. Yeah, I'll...
Seeing their compatriot burst into flames, make a courage check for each of the ones that are flanked by Talon, or at least one of them that saw this explosion occur. So that's that, plus... Two. Werewolf, Sirens, endrega. Hey. That's courage. That's 11. Yeah, no, that's not it. That ain't it, Chief. So the one that was not injured by your efforts, Talon, actually takes a moment to reassess the situation and dives over to the cart, kind of clambering onto it and beginning to run and scurry away and flee. There is one, however, that is still alive that takes a swing at you. That's 10 plus 4, so that's 14 plus 12 is 26. So go ahead and tell me what you get for dodge.
22.
22. Okay, so finally, the bugs have their day. Okay, so since it had no called shot, so now we go consult. Apply skills and mods. Its attack is above defense. It is not 7 or more, so now we roll weapon damage, which that's endrega, so its claws do 3d6. So that's there. So that's 12 points of damage. And just to make sure, I am going to roll on the humanoid damage location because we didn't determine that at first. And so haha, it strikes you in the right leg. So good, the music stopped. So we go to this one. So strikes you in the right leg, so you take half damage, and but before that, body location has been determined. Now we subtract the stopping power of your armor. So your armor, you said you were in leather armor, I believe.
Yes, I think so. All I remember is I had a double woven gambeson.
Okay. That
and then
protects
the rest was all standard. Yeah, the rest was all just standard for building the character up. I don't really know what that was.
So I believe because there is no stopping power for just regular clothing, I will check and check and check again just to make sure that I'm not cheating you out of a chance to to do away with this annoyance that sinks its claws into your leg. Yep, nope. So that's that little claw sinking into you. Half damage because it's in your leg, so that's 6 damage. You don't have any stopping power because you have no leg armor. And so you take 6 points of damage to your health.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. We've done it. I have drawn blood. Victory is mine.
Jamie's so moved. Mm-hmm.
Yes, absolutely. So,
congratulations. I'm happy that I could help in this matter.
Yes, thank you so much. And by the way, I need to roll to see if you're poisoned. All right, so it's a 25% chance, so if I roll 25 or lower, I think is how that works. That's how that works, right? Hey, guess what? I didn't roll it, so... So with that, its claws just sort of take a chunk out of your leg, and yeah, that's pretty much that poor bastard's turn. Tell me, Talon, what are you going to be doing?
I would like to retaliate, please.
Go ahead. Are you aiming for a specific part?
If I aim, can I still do the 2 attacks in the turn?
With a fast attack, after your attack, determine what body part you hit, unless you aim for a specific spot. Aiming for specific parts is harder, but can be worth it. Each part has a penalty. Yeah, you can still do a fast attack as far as I can tell.
Okay, in that case, I would like to go for the face.
Go ahead.
So the first one. Just why not?
Yes. So just to tell you, that means you'll be rolling at a -6.
That's okay.
Because this is specifically a headshot.
Mm-hmm. In that case, I'll just not add my swordsmanship, since that's what that is. That'll be a 19 anyway.
Yeah, that's gonna hit. So... All right, so since it was a called location and you got a 19, you said?
Yep.
So 14, not above 7, so not a critical, but still, you hit the head. So that will be interesting. So roll your weapon damage.
Ooh, that's a better one. 17 points of damage.
17 points of damage. So 17 minus the stopping power of
face.
Believe it or not, its face is armored. Minus that, so that's 10. Yes. But 10 times 3 is 30, if I'm not mistaken. Right? Just doing a little bit of math here, right?
I'm not great at mental arithmetic, but I feel like that's right.
Yeah, probably is. And wow, okay, yeah, this is not pretty. Each of you watch as this creature sort of rears back, its spindly mouth kind of opening up in sort of a shriek of defiance. Talon, taking this opportunity, you spin the sword back into a thrusting posture and slam it down into its gullet. A terrible insectoid noise ensues as it sort of clatters and chatters against your silver sword, further shredding its insides as you wrench it out. The blade itself is mostly clean, and the sort of convulsing movements of this creature lend itself to a quite easy demise as it falls limp at your feet.
And then with my second attack, I will do the whole pride before a fall thing again and go for the face again, because I like how that turned out. Probably will never get that again.
Yeah, go ahead. Just roll. Just roll.
Okay, I'm rolling again because that was a 10.
That was a 10.
That was a 10. Okay, that was a 3.
23.
So with the plus 10 of reflex, not the plus 6 of swordsmanship, that's 33.
Minus 6.
No, that's without the 6. That's
without the 6. Oh,
yeah.
that's without the 6. You're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Where's this luck?
Polite golf claps.
We all get it once.
Polite golf claps. Yes. So you slam the sword back into the head of this creature, sort of skewering its brains. You don't have to roll for damage.
Oh, but please.
Okay, you know what? Because you asked so nicely, you'll get a deadly crit. Go ahead and roll again for the damage.
What's this? Just all ones, and it really wasn't worth it.
Yeah,
no, it wasn't.
Go off.
Okay, so that's 18 on that one.
18, really? Plus the 10 that's directly applied to HP because it's a crit hit, so that's fair. 18 stopping power makes it 12 times 3 is 36. You know what? How does this poor last leg endrega meet its end finally? Mercifully, almost.
Okay. I'd just like to picture, after killing the other one, just kind of, slowly turning around, wiping the blade and noticing the other one's there. And then just kind of, just repeat the process. Not even, totally unfazed on the face, just well, that worked once. Do it again.
Oh, this was against the one that was running away. Yeah, no, it really doesn't make much of a difference. It was clamoring. It couldn't have dodged. It was... Yeah. Whew. 36 in one blow. That was...
I can't talk to people, but I can do this.
Yeah, and plus with the... Yeah, that was just clean.
But the thing is, he's totally unfazed. He doesn't understand whether or not that was cool or not.
Indeed. So, the endrega themselves seem to collapse very judiciously. We're out of initiative at this point. You see, I just remembered one is on fire in the middle of the road. So he's just limping along, and suddenly he stops limping after a while. He had no health to try and stop, drop, and roll.
So sad.
So sad indeed. A plethora of carnage lies before you all as these endrega have been undone quite succinctly and quite expertly. And with that, we can survey the spoils and the carnage after this short break. Bye-bye.
And we're back.
Yes, indeed, we're back. Yay!
No.
First round of combat in the proper campaign resolved.
Woo!
Everyone, golf claps all around. Indeed. Well, as is customary for such a lovely, lovely aftermath, the smell of burning fills the air as the crackling, smoldering remains of a distant endrega leave off the final bits of steam and smoke which arise from its charred flesh. 2 lie amidst the caravan. Well, 3 actually. A warrior and 2 of the workers.
I would like to approach the wreckage of the caravans and probably start trying to do a stock take. I guess that's kind of what I was here for. What is salvageable?
Absolutely. So, as you were given a manifesto by the company man of the caravan, a gnome by the name of... Hang on, I'm sure I wrote it down somewhere.
Eh? Sounded like dolphin.
Yeah.
Dauphin?
Dauphin? He's French.
Dauphin?
Dauphin. Where was it?
I don't know why I'm thinking dolphin.
Now you're saying it, I'm like, that sounds right.
It does, I know. Now I can't get out of it.
Which is
was his name actually Flipper and we just associate?
No, because...
I feel like it started with a D. I honest to goodness did.
Right, and who was it that we were talking about? Dolphin, as in D-A-L, Lowrich.
It literally was dolphin.
It was dolphin.
Oh, it was dolphin.
Crazy.
Of course it was. I knew it all along.
I forget I take notes.
God, we're so good at this.
So, Dolphin, being the sort of quartermaster of the caravan, handed you a manifesto, which was a collection of goods and whatnot that was supposed to be transported to Erston. Orla, as you survey the current... there's really no other way to put it.
Carnage.
Carnage. I would like you to make a... Let's make it a deduction check. Since you're... Yeah. Isabel, Phalanus, Talon, is there anything you would wish to do as...
Now I get a 10? Okay, that's a 20 total, but with a 10 on the dice.
So I think you roll again because it explodes.
Yeah. That's a 22.
Okay, so 22. Talon, Phalanus, Isabel, is there anything y'all would wish to do?
Am I done fussing with my bow at this point, I would assume?
I'll say, since it was at the end of combat, you're still you still have to restring the bow and whatnot, but you can take, the 3 seconds that it takes for an elf of your skill to restring and whatnot.
Can I also be side-eyeing Isabel?
Ooh.
I'm trying not to side-eye Isabel.
Consciously trying
Just
to
like,
avert.
I'm here, I'm not gonna make a big deal of this.
I'm genuinely curious. Like, I'm a bit familiar with some magery. Not much, and it's been a long time, but there's a curiosity.
Mm-hmm. Isabel's checking her fingernails, pointedly not doing any work, just waiting for these lot to do what they need to do.
And
I would also like to head over to the caravans, but to try and assess more to do with how the endrega were interacting with everything, and how, like, with the sinkhole and everything, like, what their tunnel system might be like, and just kind of get a better understanding of how they were operating in the area.
Yes, so that'll be a Witcher training check. So, addressing each in turn. Orla, with that 22, you are able to account for most of the items that were unfortunately ruined. Lengths of silk that were chewed upon and destroyed. Cloth, packets that were ripped to shreds or had some sort of like regurgitated effect to them to where their use is damn near non-existent. You also see some sort of miscellaneous goods, dried fruits, for example, fruits and nuts sort of dot the landscape, but their containers have been completely destroyed and whatever contents were sort of feasted upon with reckless abandon. Same thing goes for the meat and yeah. However, as you sort of look through the manifesto, there is one thing that is unaccounted for. A medicine kit. There were obviously medical kits of some kind associated with each caravan, one to each, sort of like a first aid, sort of scuffs of the road and whatnot. But one seems to be missing, just in totality.
I don't think they might have grabbed this during or after the attack.
It's a question. And certainly one that might be at least worth asking. Talon, what did you roll for Witcher training?
17 total.
17 total. This was behavior atypical of most endrega. The nest doesn't seem to be accommodating for anything. There's no queen that is at the base of this structure. And even then, as you sort of traipse along the edge of it, no signs of drones that crawl in or crawl out or even fight amidst themselves. It was almost like a recreation of home, a bastardization of what was familiar. You get the sense that these were stragglers. And indeed, actually, as you look to the endrega that survived and were not charred, their chitinous remains aren't that impressive. And indeed, there seems to be a sort of lattice work of cracks and dents and scratches that would have, in order to persist, would need to have been made, that's the structure of the sentence, by some force of extreme power. Most likely in a space that was close to these creatures. It's impossible to tell what it is because even looking at them, you can't really get a sense of how they were injured or how they were in the process of recovery. But it's just sort of there.
Yeah, I'll take my time to try and just take all this in detail so that when we're either traveling back or what have you, and when we're back, kind of note it all down for future reference.
Sure, absolutely. I would like each and every one of you to make an awareness check at this point.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Oh, don't like
18.
that.
All right.
18.
Tell me what you get. So put it in the chat as well.
18.
18,
13?
18, 13, and Talon?
Show off.
22.
So are they.
But he is a bit roboty right now.
A little bit
We're
roboty.
losing him.
He's a robot.
No.
We're fine. It's okay. We're great.
No one
We're back.
panic.
No one panic. All right. Each of you hear a distinctive yelp, almost a cry for help that sort of comes from an easterly direction from each of you. You're all able to hear it, but Talon specifically, as you sort of attune your ears to it, it almost sounds like Loudus Bloomfoot, the gnome that was assigned to this caravan, the tailor. It's cut short, and you hear that sort of same scuffle occur very briefly.
Hoping I'm less robot-y now.
You are.
Okay, cool. Does it sound like it's in the same direction, or like roughly the same area as the initial scuffle I heard?
Yes.
Right, okay. I can see that everyone else is kind of clocked onto this as well, right?
Yep.
Yeah, the fuck was that?
Sounded like Delphine.
Loudest, not Dolphin.
Oh, loudest. Louder, quieter, loudest.
Are we going to check it out?
I mean, this isn't going anywhere.
No.
I feel like we might as well.
Careful.
Yeah.
We best stick together.
Yeah, I assume I'll be taking the lead.
Yep.
Very well. I'll just start heading in that direction then.
We'll go
All right.
follow distance behind.
Okay. Are anybody stealthing, or is it literally just running it towards the scuffle?
Just gonna run.
I'm going quite rapid.
I'm gonna run, but look a little uncomfortable.
I'm feeling emboldened by what we just went
Going
through as I throw my dice.
Fast walk.
I'm probably like that awkward half run, half walk, like between Philinus and Isabel, like.
It's like, all right. So, as you continue along and march your way, the sounds of shouting can be heard quite easily. To your ear, Phalanus, the words come pretty easily. I'd like everybody who has Elder speech, specifically the Elven dialect, if you have that, you can go ahead and roll a language roll. If you don't have that, and you know Elder speech in general, just make a language roll for that one as well.
Okay, I got a 14.
14. So, and is that with knowledge of Elvish or no?
I just have Elder speech down, but I got access to 5 languages, so I guess when I put it down, I didn't put down a specific Elder speech. I just put it down.
I'll say that one of those 5 can certainly be Elvish, so
Okay.
perfectly fine. Cool. And Isabel, what did you get?
A 20, not natural.
20, not natural. Okay, so
Well, I mean, there's no such thing as a natural 20. This is not D&D. That just came out.
that's just
A 20 is what I got.
You
Yeah.
got a 20. In
did.
this system, it is 20.
It is just a 20.
Talon.
I have 1 point in Dwarvish and nothing in Elder speech, so...
So it's all Elder speech to you. I'll say that each of you catches sort of the rough translation of it. Orla, most especially, you get like the base root of the problem. It's a squabble of some sort. Apparently somebody's trying to wrangle something or tie something down. Isabel Phalanus, you both recognize that they are talking about, these are 2 voices, both male, talking about tying up this little squat devil who's been rallying against them, who is shouting obscenities in common, like, keep your hands off me, bastard, fuck you. Like that sort of perpetual interspersion between the argument of the 2 elder folk.
Is Loudest one of the ones that was meant to be paying me for doing this?
Loudest, if you remember from your interactions with the caravan pre the attack, Loudest was the kinder one who sort of accepted your help very graciously and
they went missing during the attack.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So
That makes sense.
suddenly now
Okay,
and now
people
coming closer, Orla, you do hear that this voice is sort of familiar.
Okay, well, this could be more valuable than cargo.
Oh.
Just saying, they'd be more grateful to have one of their own back, maybe.
The swearing stops as you surmise that a piece of cloth has been lodged into the throat of Loudus.
I guess I continue forward if everyone else is.
Yeah.
But I am interested for sure in this.
Yeah, since I can't understand, I've just been...
Trucking along.
Keep the armored boy
This
up
sounds
front.
like an argument.
So, I imagine, Talon, you do keep that sort of light jog sort of posture.
I mean, I don't want to overexert myself for the time I get
Exactly.
there.
You're saving your stamina. It's very important. Conserving
Perfect
energy.
form as well.
It's a marathon, not a sprint. Actually, make an athletics check, just to see how well you keep this posture.
So 9 plus Dex plus 5, so 24.
24. Oh, perfect. Just, you've got a real marathoner's sprint kind of in mind.
Damn it.
And I don't think
Think
even
of bulkier, more Farah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
With a lot
Sure.
more hair.
Yeah.
A lot more hair
that too.
and considerably a lot more insect blood like smeared across the... What the hell is this? Okay, so going forward, you crash through the thicket and come upon a very interesting scene. Perched upon the side of a tree that stands within a small clearing, there seems to be a sort of like covering or tent of some sort with a sort of dark forest green cloth that acts as a semi-roof. Contained within it, you see a small fire pit, and with its embers sort of softly kind of extinguishing. And scattered around it, you see what seems to be like bandages and other sorts of medical accoutrement. Orla, this consists of the med kit that was mysteriously missing. And even more pressing, I suppose, would be the two figures who are currently wrangling Loudus between each other, trying to keep a steady enough hold on him. His hands tied behind his back, his mouth gagged, and his feet kicking ridiculously, as they try to throw him on one of the two horses that stands next to them. As they see you approach, Talon, and bound towards them, they drop Loudus quite unceremoniously. He falls to his ass pretty handily and just sort of like retches his teeth and like tries to spit at them, but obviously it gets like caught in the gag, so it doesn't really like do much except maybe hurt their feelings. The two that are juxtaposed on either side of this shrieking gnome are very much elder folk, in dress at least. Their armor is patchwork, their bow and arrows distinctly elven in make, and the squirrel tails that hang from their belts, a very obvious sign of allegiance, shall we say. One of them wears a sort of long coat with a hooded, what is it called? Hooded jacket or to it. His scarf sort of pulled up over his face in somewhat of a mask, and he looks to you very wild-eyed but sternly. The other is unadorned and actually bald, with bits of war paint that sort of cling to his scalp and run from like the middle of his forehead to around the blades of his shoulder. He he, being the more rambunctious of the two, kind of like squarely points an arrow at you, Talon, as he sort of sneers and curses at you in the elder speech. You don't understand it, but everybody else he seems to be calling excuse me, seems to be calling Talon something akin to like, what the donkey's ass are you doing here?
Just kind of look at that one a bit blankly. It's like, really? Turn to the other one.
You see a sword being drawn at this point.
My crossbow's already on the bald guy.
Now, I'm not one for social graces at the best of times, but is that really necessary?
They sort of blink slowly. Loudest kind of like looks to you and in instant recognition tries to get up. The sword blade kind of taps his shoulder with the tip of it ever so slightly, pulling back his shirt to expose like a bit of the collarbone that the edge of this blade is now resting on. He doesn't move anymore. The hooded figure replies, "It is quite abnormal to see you here, Vatgan. What business do you have?"
My own business.
"And we have ours."
Thing is, you're interfering with mine.
The one who's bald kind of like blinks a couple of times. "I don't see how. What should you care if this rock biter lives or dies?"
Well, you see, the person who hired me to find him and bring him back. Alive, actually, just before you get any ideas.
The hooded and masked one doesn't reply and just keeps the blade squarely pointed toward the jugular of Laudus, who kind of is starting to breathe a little bit in a panicked manner. Make a persuasion check.
Ooh.
Or actually, no, this would probably be intimidation.
Is there any way to assist, like the rest of us, kind of backing him up with the stuff drawn?
I'll say that with your presence, the DC is lowered.
23.
Ow.
Put some stuff in intimidation. Oh, it might come in handy.
Might be
Scary.
useful, yeah.
Yeah. It's like the only way I could talk my way out of a situation is to intimidate my way out of it.
And that was a 23, you said?
Mm-hmm.
The sword withdraws from the neck of Laudus, who sort of like breathes a little bit heavily and then begins to spit out the gag before standing to his feet. "Not so tough now, are you, huh?" The masked one doesn't reply, and the bald one looks to him. Tezen? What? Are we supposed to be letting him go now?
That would be the wise option, yeah.
Your employer, who is he?
Uh-oh, he froze. We lost
Oh
him.
no,
Sorry,
suspense.
I might be a robot again.
I saw he was being stony faced, like,
I'm not
motherfucker, I ain't saying nothing.
Yeah.
No.
I ain't no snitch.
I got nothing to say to you.
The thing is, I know when it's happening because everyone else turns into a robot for me, so I'm like, oh, shit. Smile through it.
You're
So,
good. You're good now.
You're good.
Okay,
You're good.
cool. I think the question was who my employer, maybe?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mhm.
A dwarf. Merchant.
More important than you fucks, and says Loudest kind of brusquely.
At this point, Isabel looks past them and goes, "You shut up."
Loudest kind of turns to you, kind of confused, but softens his tone.
I am like very purposely holding back and like not like almost trying to like slowly just back away and almost hide behind Isabel a little bit.
I'm just there with the crossbow observing, I think.
They still see you, like Phalanus.
I know they see me. I'm just.
You now have a human shield. So, as Isabel, you sort of speak up. The hooded one turns to you, blinks a few times. And I presume you work with him as well?
Yes, I do.
Sort of blinks a few times and stares at you very intently.
Mm-hmm.
And then speaks to you in damn near perfect Nilfgaardian. And what would a southern flower like yourself find in this desolate north?
Not a lot. However, circumstances have driven me here, as I'm sure you can appreciate.
Circumstances beyond our control. You seem to have some say.
Debatable. Why are you here?
The bald one kind of like looks to Tezin as he's having this conversation. Tezin, folks going on, huh? No, it was quiet. He sort of seethes and turns to you. We are here because we have nowhere else to go.
I know about the plight that you are suffering currently. I mean, why are you right here with him?
Shall we say chance has been ruled out as a possibility?
Oh?
Make a persuasion check.
Oh, okay. Let me get to my persuasion skill.
Ooh, that could be a potent no.
Can I just say, while these two are having a conversation, I'm just kind of like arms folded, staring down the other one that seems a bit antsy.
He's staring you down, like keeping his bow sort of trained between you and Orla. It's kind of like wreaking havoc on his nerves.
23.
23 total, all right.
I'm looking everywhere, but like directly at these two.
Okay, that's definitely not enough. Okay. The one that is kneeling, he indicates to Laudus and turns to you, Talon, switching back to common. He is of value. Of some value, at least. The Havakar that we hired to weave for us clothing and the like has unfortunately found themselves indisposed. We may have heard of your employer and his endeavors and his caravans, and may have found a suitable replacement. 'Twas either that, or we feed him to endrega, should he refuse to cooperate.
Sorry, there aren't any left.
Ever impressive, Vatgen. Ever impressive.
While it's terribly sad that you have lost your weaver, you will have to find somebody else. This man is coming with us.
Indeed, it would seem. Rebirmal, he turns to the bald one, who sort of like blinks a few times. Get the horses ready. And he sort of picks up Loudus by his arm and pulls out a knife, slicing at the bonds which hold his hands behind his back. They come apart rather easily as he lurches Loudus towards you. Thank whatever gods you acknowledge. Hezin sort of spits and sniffles to himself. Loudus, ever sort of reminded to keep a still tongue, limps forward. Obviously injured, but not terribly worse for wear. He's a bit slow to get to you, Talon, but he pats your hand and sort of smirks. Thanks for coming when you did.
You're welcome, but if this happens again, I might not always be there to be sent to go and get you. So maybe watch your mouth. Seems like it almost got you in more trouble.
Rebirmal kind of snorts at that and gets the horses ready. Tezin kind of looks to all of you. I pray you will all have the good sense to forget us.
So long as you do us the same favor in return.
I'm good at conveniently forgetting things.
Just nodding.
He hesitates and sort of like looks back to all of you. In small recompense for your generosity. Well, that just stopped suddenly. In small recompense for your generosity, he straddles the horse and cracks his neck. Rebirmal kind of like looks to him and begins to say something, but is immediately silenced by a cautious glare. You may have whatever spoils are left of our friends, the Blackclads. There was a small scouting party, not too far from here. Follow the swamps until you find a grassy knoll. Take a left at it, 10 paces. You shall find beneath the mound of a rotted tree perhaps a few items of use.
It's kind of like, sure.
Cool. Nice.
He digs his heels into
everyone went stoic at the same time.
Yeah.
Is this a trap or?
Yeah.
He doesn't leave any, or he leaves too much room for interpretation as he clicks his heels into the horse and rides off. Rebirmal in tow.
Well, shall we go loot the corpses of my countrymen?
Shall I suggest no? Loudest kind of.
I believe
intense.
earlier I told you to shut up, and I would like you to continue to shut up. I don't want to hear your voice. I don't want to hear you breathe. I don't want to acknowledge your existence.
I suggest you do as she says. This one can throw fire.
Make an intimidation check.
Okay. Where the heck is intimidation?
I don't know where the heck
It's in will.
Oh, in will. Oh,
Oh, so it is.
Oh,
Isabel is a very willful woman, so let's have a look.
yes.
She's pretty willful.
19.
19. He doesn't seem to be all that intimidated, but as soon as Orla mentions that you can throw fire, he wisely makes the decision to kind of let this sleeping dog lie and leave the arguments for another day.
Besides, think how happy Dauphin is going to be to see that you're alive. That's worth much more than the loss of some cargo to some endrega, surely.
Dolphin's fucking alive?
Yes.
Oh. Well, that figures. And what of Adele and the rest of them?
Dale's alive because she was the one getting patched up, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, she made it through. A couple of others as well, and there were 2 more in the caravan.
He nods.
And Barathas as well, the chap who was traveling with me. But apart from that, I think...
Dead.
Yes, dead, devoured, maimed.
Otherwise indisposed,
Yes.
shall we say. Well, that's bloody marvelous. And he sort of grits his teeth and sort of wipes his clothing. It's not of the finest make, mainly tattered from the events of the last 24 hours, but nonetheless, he sort of composes himself very strongly.
You live to see another day. It could be much worse.
Could be, indeed, could be. He limps back to the camp that he had made for himself, begins to just shovel the medicine back into his pack. As this transpires, is there anything that anyone would wish to do?
I'm finally like loosening up a little bit. I'm just kind of shaking out nerves.
All right. So, Phalanus, you sort of feel the wash of adrenaline slowly fade. Isabel, Orla, Talon, anything you would wish to do?
Ready to get back on the road.
All right.
Yes.
Have a quick
let's keep
stiff
moving.
drink, and then suggest heading back just so that we can, actually retrieve anything from the caravan. And then while people are doing that, I'll probably go over the corpses and see if anything's salvageable.
Yes, I'd
All right.
almost finished going through the manifest, but could be other things.
Loudest sort of nods. I can certainly recompense Gallon for the use of supplies. And he sort of holds up the med kit. Though the rest of it, fear much of it has been lost.
And the rest of it is partially owed to me as well. Sorry about that.
Help
I had
us
an agreement with Dauphin, but we saved your life.
Help us 1 minute and rob the next, huh? He sort of
It's not
chuckles.
robbing if there's an agreement.
Fair enough. Fair enough. He sort of grumbles to himself and limps forward. Just good business.
Exactly. And as we go, you'll see how we slayed those dreadful creatures. That's
All
going to
right.
be worth a little bit.
Everybody else, make an awareness check as you make your way back to the caravan.
Ooh.
16.
17 from me.
18.
18.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, that's interesting. So, as you continue along, the trees sort of softly sway with the morning breeze as morning continues to crest ever forward. There is a sense of calm that befalls the surroundings of this forest. that was not present when the endrega were alive. You make your way back to the caravan, each of you, and judiciously begin the process of cataloging which was lost. Loudus kind of takes over from you, Orla, looking at the work that you've done and double checking through the manifest, making sure that everything is nicely and tidily in order. Those that rolled in, did anybody roll above an 18? I think there were 2, right?
I got an 18.
You got an 18. Okay.
18 too.
Oh, an 18 as well. So Phalanus and Isabel, you get the sense that even though the endrega are gone and the Scoia'tael have been handled, there's still a preeminent danger that sort of clings to this place. Indeed, as you begin to smell the rotted insectoid flesh of these nightmares and the charred remains begin to sort of putrefy, you start to get the feeling that perhaps there might be some scavengers on their way. Already you see a vulture perched on top of the charred corpse that is sort of picking at it.
Would we have any idea if the carapaces of these creatures are worth anything or good for any sort of crafting?
Let's go ahead and make a monster lore check, unless you would like Witcher training, Talon.
I was going to say the same thing, but I'd also like to take samples of the creature just to try and assess why it was weaker than it was.
Sure.
I got a 28 on monster lore because I rolled a 10, so it exploded.
Sure. All right, so that's that. And Talon, what did you get for Witcher training?
20.
20. Okay, so that's for each of these. That's okay. Well, I dropped that one. Okay, and then for the chitin. Oh wow, lucky day. So you get 6 doses of venom extract from the from your roll, Talon. You also get 2 bits of endrega saliva and 3 samples of chitin scale from each, so 6 in total.
So 6 scales, did you say?
Yes, 6 scales, 3 bits of saliva. One of them is a bit charred, so you're kind of dubious as to its usefulness. And then, of course, the bits of venom that you were able to harvest.
Thank you.
Orla, given your sort of knowledge of monsters generally, you know that various viscera from these vicious creatures usually render alchemical uses, either in the synthesization of poison or the manufacture of certain potions. It's difficult to know what formulae they sort of relate to. However, Talon, with a Witcher training of, how much was it?
20 even.
20 even? Okay. You're familiar with these enough to the point where you know the alchemical applications of them. So if you look, I believe it's at page 143, you can sort of troll through and sort of see which one this would apply for. Like, for example, endrega saliva is a sample of vermilion, which can be used in potions like Ada's Tomb or Poisoner's Friend or quickfire acid solutions. There's a lot of applications that sort of lend itself from these sort of component parts. Of course, you have to know the formula in order to synthesize it, but it's useful enough.
If you ever need a hand shift in that, I could definitely get you a good price.
Fair enough, unless it comes in handy.
Who can say?
in terms of the actual sort of monetary cost that's associated for you, Orla, endrega saliva for every single unit usually costs around like 38 for any particular sort of range from 1 to 6, depending upon how much the alchemist has. And the others you can find as at your leisure from 144 to 145 in the book. Fabulous. Isabel, Phalanus, are there any affairs that you would wish to wrap up as the sort of inventory comes to a close with Loudest sort of tutting to himself?
I want to go look at the bodies that the Squirtel had told us about before we head off to the main camp.
Sure. That will be a wilderness survival check.
All right.
Yeah, I'll go with her.
Phalanus, you can make the same check.
Yep.
Cool. What is that under? What is that under?
Oh, it's under intelligence.
Oh,
Yep.
thank you, dear. It'll be a 14 for me.
11.
14 and an 11.
Hmm.
You find the grassy knoll, and Isabel, you're not attuned to nature as readily as most people. However, Phalanus, casting your eyes toward a moldy stump, you do find a congregation of flies kind of buzzing around. And indeed, shifting a few pieces of rotted wood, you find a grisly sight. Shoved into the cheek of this, what looks to be a scout, is a boar tusk of considerable size. His jaw is sort of leveraged open due to its presence, and he is stripped of most weapons and armor. However, there seems to be a coin pouch that sort of hangs from his person, and like a few notes that are sort of in a loose collection.
I look for a stick.
Wilderness survival of 14, you find a stick.
I find
You
a
find
stick.
the stick.
All right.
You found the stick.
And I'm
Good
kind of
job.
like trying to knock the coin purse and the notes towards me without having to get in there. I don't want to touch it.
Sleight of hand.
Oh goodness. What is that under? So many
That's
checks.
dexterity.
Dexterity. Oh, there it is. Sure enough. Let's see. That is well, 16.
16. Okay, it's easy enough. You hook the sort of loop of the coin purse. It was sort of dangling off the belt, but with a good tug, the belt kind of gives way, and you fish it off this poor guy and sort of knock the notes out of his hand. It's a little bit strange because his fingers are sort of clenched upon it, or at least seemed to be clenched upon it before they were sort of wrenched apart. And so you pry the book from his person, and yes, you retrieve both expertly.
Okay.
Isabel
the smell
just
of
kind of gives the give me the book gesture.
Okay, kind of pinch just the corner and hand it to her.
Still the smell of dead guy.
Yeah.
Isabel, do you wish to peruse
Yes.
the volume? Ah, yes. Obviously.
I'm
So
gonna go through the coin purse while she's going through, just kind of gently looking in.
It's not attached to the dead guy anymore.
It was for too long. I don't like.
you find contained within this person 23 crowns and 23 crowns and a few orens, 20 to be exact. So 20 Nilfgaardian orens
23 crowns, you said?
and 23 crowns, yes.
Okay.
Orens are Nilfgaard, right? It's got to be.
I think so.
Which are 3 orens are Excuse me. They are the Temerian Orans. Aha.
Oh, Florence is...
Okay.
Florence is the one that's not. But actually, it fits more because as you read, make a deduction check.
A deduction?
Yes, because there is a simple cipher that is present within these notes.
Okay. Deduction. Ooh, I got that. I'm smart. Oh, let me just roll that again because that was a 10.
Of course.
29.
29. Oh, only 29.
Only 29.
It's an insultingly easy cipher. For one of Nilfgaard's finest, apparently he was not A, smart enough to avoid the Scoia'tael, or B, smart enough to really keep his notes properly encoded. Like, you flip it open and there's like the index to it already arranged, but you get the sense that maybe somebody has been through it before as you sort of peruse and see markings that were more recent. However, looking through, you kind of note that the movements of this scout in particular, who is unnamed, seem to indicate that a person of interest will be passing through the area, and he was sent out ahead of the group as sort of a risk assessment and or surveyor in order to assess not only the strength of the northern military within Novigrad and the surrounding area, but the potential connections that this person of interest could indeed draw upon. The person of interest is unnamed. He's given, or they are given, what seems to be like a code, which translates roughly from Nilfgaardian something to the effect of eagle or Aquila or something like that. Apparently, this eagle was to meet with various persons of influence within Novigrad. However, the surveyor had noted a particular event which had jarred him, and this is actually the last entry. Explosion of some force, unknown origin, unknown effect. Will recommend further course of action upon investigation.
Interesting. We might
Contain.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead. No. You say.
Contained within as well is Gallen's name. And a few other business associates, shall we say, who you, within your stay in Novigrad, have found to be mentioned by certain persons in the bits, mainly with disgust. There's also mention of, or repeated mention of the eagle and his violet will be perfectly safe. But beyond that, not much else.
I'll turn to Phalanus with a big smile on my face. We found out some excellent information that might be worth quite a bit to the right person.
Oh, I like that. By the way, these 5 are for you. This is for you. So I give her the 5 of the orens and 5 of the crowns.
Oh.
Thank you.
Just nod.
Anything else of worth on it?
Nah, don't think so.
Yeah.
I ain't digging in there.
Isabel, do you wish to perhaps survey and see if there's anything that was missed?
I shall survey just in case there's anything missed by my fine compatriot.
Then an awareness check will be necessary.
An awareness check. Let's go. 18.
There is one bit of interesting thing that Phalanus did miss. You see sort of off the faintest glint of sunlight. Tucked within his boot is a singular dagger.
Is it like reachable in his boot, or I'm gonna have to go digging in there?
You won't have to dig, but you're going to have to get real close.
Okay. Roll up the sleeves. As if I was peering into a bouquet, lean down and just grab the dagger, as if it doesn't bother me.
Okay. Make a sleight of hand check.
It's just straight dex, which we all know is so good for me.
So good.
That's a 9.
Okay, so just a 9?
Just a 9.
You don't have any bonuses to... Nothing?
Rolled a 2, man. I don't know what you want from me.
Oh my god. Okay, no, I'll say... Oh boy. So, as you sort of daintily reach in, it's sort of stuck within its hilt, which kind of sucks, and you try to sort of pry it and wriggle it, and you do get it free without the sheath, but it sort of wrenches its leg in such a manner that it sort of pulls it up, and like his head falls and stares at you directly, and a sort of foul smell emanates from him.
I'm trying not to just get sick.
Yeah, like it's and you finally see how actually he died. There seems to have been a burrower arrow that sunk into his clavicle pretty deep.
Well, as soon as the foot is in the air, I'll just kind of shake it until the sheath falls out of the boot.
I'm dying back behind her.
Yep.
And then just kind of like throw the foot down, pick up the sheath, and look at the dagger.
Not of particularly mastercrafted work, but it's a fairly good dagger, at least by your estimation.
I feel the one in my garter sheath because Isabel has a garter sheath.
Oh,
of course.
I just go and hand it to Phalanus. There you go. For the next time you have a accident in the battlefield.
Wait, which one did you hand me? The one from the dead body, or?
Yeah, not mine. Not mine.
Okay, that's why I was double checking.
Listen, I'm not that nice.
Look, I haven't put a leg up on a footstool and on a toadstool. Hike the dress up to show you. No, you're getting the nasty ass boot knife.
Nasty ass boot knife. I'm writing that down as nasty ass boot knife. Yes. Oh, thank you. I'm trying to compose myself back there from being so sick. Just lovely.
Adjourning from this scene, Talon. I will say, as you sort of examined the chitin of these terrifying creatures, you get the sense that, excuse me, the force that was thrust upon them that created this sort of lattice work of scarring upon their chitin and exposed much of the soft flesh was explosive in nature. Or at least collision-based of some sort. Indeed, as you sort of trace your fingers along it and feel the sort of texture, you get the sense that whatever previous home they had was destroyed utterly. And that these were stragglers who acted out not so much in terms of ways to reestablish, but in ways to inflict pain. And purely inflict pain.
Well, I'm writing that down for later.
Yeah. Loudest kind of looks to you and says, all right, the inventory's done, Master Witcher. Suppose we should be returning to Galanai.
When the others return, yeah.
at that point, probably about 5 or 6 minutes later, Isabel Phalanus, you make your way back to the group. Unless there is, of course, anything else you wish to do.
No, I think we should get out of there.
Yeah, we should.
All right. Finally reunited. Orla, Talon, Phalanus, Isabel. I assume you adjourn back to the caravan?
Yes.
With very much thought to the unfortunate souls that you left behind, you see, Phalanus, you see Twinkle tied to his tree.
Her tree.
Or her tree, excuse me. Judiciously munching on some grass and just kind of standing there, kind of stone-faced.
Going to offer a ride to anyone who wants. Because if not, I'm gonna.
I pat Una. I'm fine there. I assume my caravan's still there?
Yes. So Twinkle was before the caravan because y'all took Twinkle along. But as you make your way back, yes, indeed, Una is there, and Barathis is sort of talking with the injured woman who is now sort of up and about. Her arm is a little less worse for wear, but the general mood of the camp is still on edge, evidenced by the fact that as you approach, you see Barathis kind of look very strongly at you, hand on hilt, before softening as he recognizes each of you, waving.
Well, sorted that.
Ever heroic, Master Witcher. Barathis kind of blinks a few times.
I'm overjoyed to see you didn't run off with my wagon there, Barathis.
I couldn't carry it even if I wanted to.
No.
I'm trying to stifle a laugh back there. No.
That would have got a smirk and a little
I'm afraid pretty much all of your stock was destroyed, but we found something perhaps a little more valuable. I believe this is one of your compatriots.
To stunned silence, Loudest kind of waves a hand. Idale rushes to him, sort of damn the consequences. Tears kind of streaming from her eyes. She sort of tackle hugs him. Both of them wince in pain as they recognize that, oh, right, we're both injured. But the elation is not lessened. Barathis kind of smirks. Fair bit of time in that each of you has, I suppose. Just about to eat. Then get back on the road to Novigrad, I suppose.
Yes, and I will be getting that 100 crowns, yes?
Delphine kind of blinks a few times, mouth agape. That would be a discussion for Gallon, he sort of points out very, very strongly.
Well, you wouldn't want your potential clients in the future to know you don't keep to your words, so I trust you on that.
Mm-hmm. Have I mentioned I don't really know her? Barathis kind of says as Delphine kind of glares at him.
A deal's a deal. Now, we should probably get settled up.
There's the smell of a harsh gruel that is being stoked on the fire by the two attendants to Idale, who are kind of focused on that more than anything else. As you prepare, is there anything in finality that you would wish to do before adjourning?
Going to secure myself better sleep quarters for tonight rather than this sad fire.
I mean, I could rent you a space in my wagon.
Rent?
I mean, would we not be able to just get back from here tonight? Because it's quite early in the morning, wasn't it?
It's about noon now.
Oh, well, fine then, yes. I'm not sleeping out here if I don't have to.
Yeah, if we can get back.
Yeah.
Because it didn't take us that long to get here in the first place, right?
I certainly hope not. Novigrad's only a stone's throw away, as far as I understand.
I'm gone. I'm gonna go sleep in a bed.
Yes, that would be nice.
Yep, I am up on my horse and I'm ready to go.
I'm ready. I never even got off Twinkle. I'm ready.
Yeah, I get Una all hitched up to my wagon and kind of make sure everything's in place.
Right, suppose we're moving. Barathis kicks out the fire from underneath the gruel, and you see the two attendants sort of like, what the fuck, man? That sort of quickly subsides as they recognize that it's time to pick up the pace and get back before too long. And indeed, as the noonday crests over the continent, a successful job well done, and payment for such awaits you.
Oh, thank God. I'm so broke.
Better do.
But that is for another time. As today, we finish.
Oh, I want to just real quick, as my brain just shut down. I've handed out money so 5 orens for Talon and 5 crowns for Talon, as the same for Orla as well.
Thank you so much.
And I get 4 crowns and 5 orens as well for me.
Barathis kind of blinks at you, kind of like, well, okay then. Just sort of expectantly, like, expecting something.
For what?
What the?
Excuse me, you didn't find me giant crabs.
There, sir.
He watched over camp. He was like integral to the survival of these persons.
No,
He didn't
okay.
have any
No.
choice.
Nah, he wants to go
He
there.
was not offered what was found under that stump.
Isabel
Now-
flicks him a pity oran. There
Oh.
you go, for all your hard work, Barathis.
I will ask him how his cheek's feeling.
Much better, he says as he takes the orin and kind of pockets it.
And
Hey,
because,
I already gave you a great deal for
So
traveling
good.
with me, so
because Isabel is that bitch, she'll say, oh, maybe I'll bump into you at the Passive Flora where you're spending it, Barathis. And then drive off.
Drive on.
roll up the window.
These engine horses, obviously. Oh, God. As you all adjourn from this hastily disassembled campsite, we thank everyone so much for watching and hope that we find you once again here on the next session, of course, of Grains of Truth.
2 weeks'
Yes.
time.
Yes.
2 weeks' time. 2 weeks' time. All right.
All right. And if you're watching on YouTube, hi.
Oh, yes.
Oh, we love you too.
Love, love, love.
Yes. Catch us live if you can. If you can't, keep watching on YouTube because that rocks.
It does. All right. So before we say goodnight, do we have any last things we want to say?
I think so.
Don't think so. Can't think of anything. Just remember the plugs at the beginning. Follow us all on social media and enjoy yourselves. Be safe, be kind, etc., etc.
All right. And we will see you real soon. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.